Welcome to A Dark Path, a podcast exploring the depths of witchcraft, magic, the occult, and all things mysterious. Join us on this journey into the unknown, down a dark path overgrown. Find spells and rituals, folklore and legends. Come, set your candles alight to clear your mind and unwind. Delve into the shadows to uncover a dark path.
Welcome back to A Dark Path, a podcast exploring the depths of witchcraft, magic, the occult, and all things mysterious. I am Kristen, and my big three are sun sign in Taurus, and both my moon and rising are in Aquarius.
Ooh, lots of variety there.
So
I'm
much.
I'm Allyson Hemma-Romane, owner of Jupiter's Omens. My sun is also in Taurus. My moon is in Cancer, and my rising is Scorpio. We're joined today by Justeen of Ostrara Northwest. Why don't you tell our lovely listeners a little bit about yourself, your business, whether or not you call yourself a witch, and what your big three are? That's a laundry list. So if you need a reminder, let us know.
I probably will. So I'm gonna okay. So my name's Justeen. I am the owner and sole tattoo artist at Ostrara Northwest Tattoo, which is a mobile tattooing company. So I go to events and like business openings and stuff, and I could be your tattoo artist there. I do call myself a witch, like a chaos witch, but it not like a religion kind of thing. And then my big three, I have a Leo sun, Libra moon, and Aries rising.
So today's episode, we are talking about astrology. To start us off, we're going to go ahead and define some terms, as we typically like to do. So Oxford Dictionary states astrology is the study of movement and relative positions of celestial bodies interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. I looked up celestial as well, and it is position in or relating to the sky or outer space as observed in astronomy. I wanted to go ahead and start off with a quote that I took from a website, twofeathers.co.uk. For many in the West, astrology signs are popular more as a fun pastime. Many of us, whether we admit it or not, will check out our daily horoscope in a magazine or newspaper. Numerous experienced astrologers today from both East and West have studied the relationship between the planets and man in depth, and many would agree that there is an important relationship between us and the cosmos. Some more contemporary astrologers may not agree that the planets have an influence on us, but instead they appreciate that what is happening out in the cosmos mirrors what is happening with us. So when the sun passes through, say, for example, Cancer or Capricorn in the heavens, that very same type of energy is also being triggered down here on Earth. It may be triggered within us, but equally as likely within animals, trees, places, and everything on the planet. There are a few branches of astrology. To start us off, Hellenistic, the definition is of or relating to the widespread Greek-based culture that developed after the conquests of Alexander the Great, was practiced in the Mediterranean region from the 1st century BCE to the 7th century CE, and it is the source of many modern astrology traditions. They typically focus on the elements fire, water, air, and earth. So there's also Vedic astrology. When used as an adjective, it's relating to the Veda or Vedas. Used as a noun, it is the language used in the Vedas, an early form of Sanskrit. So Vedic astrology also is known as, and I am probably going to pronounce this wrong because it's like Jyotish. It's a system of astrology that originated in India thousands of years ago, and it's based off of the Vedas, which is Hinduism's oldest sacred text and date back to 1500 BCE. So they're old AF. It's based off of the position of the stars and the planets at the time of birth, and they also have a ton of other things that go into it. Very deeply rooted in Hindu philosophy and spirituality. So that is where you get karma, reincarnation, and dharma that all play really significant roles. We also have the Chinese astrology. So that's typically known as the Chinese zodiac. It's a traditional classification scheme based on the Chinese calendar, and it assigns an animal and it attributes to each year on a repeating 12-year cycle. Typically, their personalities are related to that animal of their year. And then it even breaks down a little bit further. So you can break it down into the 12 zodiac, heavenly stems, earthly branches, yin and yang, trine, and your nature element. There's also Native American zodiac. So in a well-being article by Cassandra Tyndall, it reads, in Native American astrology, which draws heavily on the ancient medicine wheel, each totem animal is associated with one of 12 different moons throughout the year. The totem animals are grouped according to which compass direction and season they are associated with. The qualities of the season and the corresponding moon help define the meaning of each totem animal. So your totem animal may go by different names in different groups, but the meaning of the Native American totem animal is always based on the underlying seasonal energy. And then we come to tropical astrology is what most of us in the United States know of as astrology and zodiac symbols.
Really?
Mhm.
I didn't know that. I thought it was I thought it was Hellenistic.
So the tropical zodiac is a system of astrology based on the Earth's position in relation to fixed points in the sky. It's divided by the intersections of the equator and the ecliptic. There's so much in this that my mind explodes. I'm just like, I am not that celestial. I love it. It's cool, but like all the technical terms, I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's structured around the 4 celestial points, the March equinox, the June solstice, the September equinox, and the December solstice. The tropical zodiac did also originate in Mesopotamia. However, it differs from Hellenistic, which sometimes is also called sidereal zodiac, as it's based on the position of Earth in relation to the constellations. And the Hellenistic sidereal zodiac is made up of 12 constellations that are visible in the sky, while the tropical zodiac is not based on visible stars. Most Western astrologers still use Ptolemy's tropical system, which divides the ecliptic into seasonal signs. Tropical astrology is based upon the seasonal cycle of the northern hemisphere and does not take axial precession into consideration. The constellations are visible in both hemispheres, but typically they're flipped. I thought this was really cool. There's some characteristic swappage that kind of happens. An Aquarius in the southern hemisphere would swap to a Leo. You're still called an Aquarius, but you have more Leo aspect. An Aquarius is always an Aquarius, but in the southern hemisphere, you're a summer Aquarius, whereas northern hemisphere, you're a winter Aquarius. A Leo's always a Leo, but in the southern hemisphere, you're a winter Leo, and then summer in the northern hemisphere.
So we have a foundation. Now let's talk about some of the pieces that make up the meat and potatoes of your astrological chart. These are generalized interpretations. So you might find things that are more specific other places, or people might find like you might
For
what
sure,
is wrong with me?
They're blanket terms for sure. They're not going to go in depth. They are literally just to give you the littlest taste of what they are actually.
Yeah. Your sun placement is how you see yourself. The moon is your emotions. Rising is how you show up. Mercury, how you communicate. Venus is how you love. Mars, how you deal with aggression. Jupiter is luck and gains. That's my favorite one, if you couldn't tell. Saturn is karma, responsibilities, self-discipline. That's another one of my favorites. Probably heard of the Saturn return. Yes? No? Also, Uranus, your uniqueness. Neptune is your imagination, and Pluto is your transformation. In terms of houses, we've got 1 through 12. House 1 is self, your body, mind, and soul. House 2, value or money. House 3, communication, neighborhood, daily environment, family. House 4 is home, childhood, parents, and ancestry. House 5 is pleasure, hobbies, passions, creativity, children. House 6, routines, hygiene, health, chores, services. House 7 is partnerships, your lover, your partner, your best friend. House 8 is intimacy, loans, inheritances, fear of endings, social pressures. House 9 is your philosophy, higher studies, religion, life philosophy, and spirituality. House 10 is career, social status, reputation, and life's work. House 11 is friendships, friends, groups, communities, aspirations, and House 12 is privacy, solitude, isolation, negative self-beliefs, and self-talk.
Can I interject a little bit?
Absolutely.
So
Please bestow your wisdom.
Okay, so when you say like describing the sun as self, the sun is actually ego. It's not self. Your self is actually your rising sign, and your rising sign is also your first house. That is why your rising sign and first house are always self. So that's why I tend to talk about sun signs. That's your ego. And ego sounds like a really negative term, but it's very necessary to live in this world and have an ego.
Oh, it's like your conscious mind versus your id, right? Your conscious mind versus your unconscious mind. That's basic Freudian math.
Duh.
Duh. That's postmodern philosophy right there.
We're cutting out the girl math and the boy math, and we're just going straight to Freudian math.
Straight to Freud math. Yeah.
So, what are the big three? We did introduce them at the beginning and gave our personal big three. They are your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. You can use your birth information, including the time and the location of your birth, to find your big three. I personally used, I think it was astrologycafe.com.
Cafe astrology.
Yeah. Yeah. You can find tons of websites that you can just like go on for free. I also had to add in the caveat. While astrology is not a strict science, many believe it can provide insight into your psyche and how you approach situations. You can use astrology as a tool for self-reflection, but it shouldn't replace common sense or reality.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that.
That was a visceral.
Visceral, like, yeah.
As somebody who loves astrology, and I do watch the planets and stuff like that, like, don't get me wrong, I love to blame Mercury when it's in retrograde, but sometimes it's on me that my communication is terrible. And sometimes it's not that Pluto's heavy today and I'm depressed, it's actual depression and I need to go talk to a therapist. Use common sense, please.
Even having some of the same signs like us here on this podcast can have various insights when in different placements. So now, Justine, we're going to go ahead and have you give us some insight on your big three. And then we also provided some of our information to kind of see the insight on our big three.
I'm so nervous. I'm really excited to hear what Justine has to say, though.
So I'm going to be gentle because it's only the big three, right? Like whenever you get into astrology, sometimes it can be very, very, what's the word?
Brutal. You know, I'm a Scorpio rising. Bring it, dude. Don't be gentle. Mommy. No.
Yes. Okay, I won't. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so based on like big three, right? So my Leo sun, when I take Leo and it's in its sun placement, I am technically in my own ego, warm, egocentric, loyal, charismatic, and prideful. So Libra moon is how I present to myself emotionally in my own head. And it is relationship and romantic focused, peacekeeper, and conflict avoidant. How I show up to the world is my Aries rising, which is independent, aggressive, self-reliant, charismatic, and assertive. So I like to sum up people's big threes into one sentence. And my big three in one sentence is fight me or fuck me, whatever makes you happy.
Oh my God, I love it.
So, oh my God. So Leo and Aries, just those both in my brain are just like very strong and just like independent, like war machines, but in fancy clothes.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. So having a Leo sun automatically puts it in its home planet. Leo is ruled by the sun. Another home placement so Aries has two. So Aries is Mars driven, but Aries also prefers to be in the first house, the house of self. I have two of those in my big three in their home planets. So they both are extremely strong and have a massive pull. But then having a Libra moon and an Aries rising, those two are called sister signs. So they are the exact same sign, just opposed, just like you talked about in the beginning. So I have a constant pull and want and drive to habitually reinvent myself, which I know for a fact one of you also has that in their big three. Kristen, you have a Taurus sun, which I absolutely love in general. Tauruses Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I love every zodiac sign for every specific different reason, right? But
How
Taurus,
Leo of you.
so Taurus sun shows up as love for stability and comfort, can be hard-headed, but is insanely loyal. Next is your Aquarius moon, which your emotional self is open-minded, independent, and you thrive on free expression. Then you also have that double of the Aquarius rising, how you show up to the world. So you show up to the world as with an unconventional mindset. Intellectuals and humanitarians are very common in Aquarius risings, and you thrive in careers centered around innovation and social change. Your big three summed up to one sentence is just give me a cozy blanket and the Akashic records, please.
Oh my God, I love and like I just not move for like the rest of my life and just be like a little warm burrito while I'm like intaking all of this information.
I
feel
feel
like
like
that should be your Instagram bio, dude.
yeah, right. Aquarians, I have a soft spot for. Obviously, as a Leo, like they're my sister sign, right? My daughter has 6 Aquarius placements. So, like, Aquarians, this is where I will get into this. I do not ever believe that and I do not subscribe to the idea that there is a bad placement, right? There are difficult ones. And I will say Aquarius moons, Virgo moons, and Scorpio moons are very difficult placements to have because Aquarians are naturally intellectual. They have this broad capacity for emotion just as much as a Cancerian has, right? Their sign is the water bearer. They have all the emotion, they just put it into a cup because they want to intellectualize it. So for you, Kristen, what's hard that maybe I could see as a challenge for you is that you tend to want to intellectualize your emotions instead of feel your feelings, which can make you almost feel detached and like you don't belong. And that is extremely difficult, but just know that you are loved and you are seen. Yes.
I have nothing really to say except for like, I mean, that feels so on the nose. I have such a hard time like pinpointing how I'm feeling emotionally because in my body it feels one way, but my brain can't figure out how to say what it is. So I have to sit and figure it out so that I can tell you I'm feeling sad when it's not really sad, but it's also like dejected or like that's just so nuts.
A really fun fact about Aquarius moons. You Aquarius moons can read each other's minds. Like I know that sounds like whoa, that's crazy. But it's so real. You guys can read each other's minds and emotions better than any other similar moon sign ever.
Weird. So no matter the other placements, if they're both moon Aquarius, you kind of
correct.
Yep. All right, I need to find another Aquarius moon.
Is Heidi an Aquarius moon?
She is.
Yeah.
Wait, which one?
Heidi.
Heidi?
Yeah.
I was wondering because whenever they have like really big moments together, they like and I have this moment. Yeah, I have this moment where I'm like, I'm so glad that they know each other. Like I can see something happening, right? Yeah.
Okay, now are you ready, Allyson?
Bring it on.
Okay.
Bring it on.
So you are also a Taurus sun. How you see yourself and how your ego is love for stability and comfort, hard-headed, and insanely loyal. You have a Cancer moon. So like how the Leo sun is in its home planet, same thing with your Cancer moon. That means that your Cancer moon is going to be a bit stronger, right? So your Cancer moon, your emotional self is wildly empathetic, emotionally fluid, sensitive, and attracted to stability. Then you have a Scorpio rising, lots of water, and I'm loving that for you. Scorpio risings show up as you show up in the world pretty much as magnetic, passionate, resilient, and thrives in stable security. If I had to sum you up into one sentence, it would be, if I don't have stability, I will cry in private.
Basically, yeah. If it's a really bad day, I'll cry in public.
Oh, yeah. That Cancer moon is so strong, and it's a blessing, I personally feel, because like, so one thing that I do love to see is water in big three, especially water when it comes to moon signs, because I don't have that. I have fire and air. And so I strive for the emotional depth that you just naturally have. And Scorpio being technically Pluto, but also Mars driven, can make you seem, like it said, like there's like a magnetic, but also intense. And I think that provides as this huge shield for your soft heart. And I do love to see that balance. Now, where it's hard is your sun sign, your ego is Taurus. Then your sister sign is Scorpio, which is your rising. You also struggle deeply with the want of finding out who you are, reinventing yourself. And I'm going to be almost a little bit specific. It can feel like that almost every 2.5 years. And I could get really, really into it, but it takes a lot of description into that. So with that being said, however you show up, whether it is in your authentic self or your changing self, you matter. So that's big threes.
Thank you. I will say, I would say like the reinventing happens between every probably year and 2.5 years. I feel like sometimes it's really fast and sometimes it's at that 2.5 year mark, which I mean is fast compared to what a lot of people like.
Correct. Yeah. Some people are totally happy just like being the same. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, right? But like they're just like, okay, like I don't have this. It's almost like a compulsion. Like it's this drive, like that you cannot pinpoint what the fuck it is, but it's like, damn, I need to bring this down. I need to reevaluate.
The other thing is talking about like intensity, right? Like I've been told a lot. It's really interesting to hear you say that it could be like used as a shield, whereas I've more so had it more like weaponized against me, right? Like, oh, you're too much, you think too deeply, you feel too deeply. That's way too intense for me. So I've come across a lot of people who don't vibe with that Scorpio rising.
You inherently, as a person, challenge people to look at themselves. Having a Mars rising, I see it as a gift, because that repels people who are stuck in an inauthentic pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it takes probably like a year or 2.5 years for me to figure out that someone's not a good fit, which is the other piece of it.
That's your Cancer moon. Sorry, I have to say it. You want to like connect with everybody. Like, please let me love you. Let me hug you. Let me love you.
So I'm jealous, like to hear about like your Libra moon, right? Like to be able to try to balance the two sounds so great, whereas I just get overwhelmed and sad.
But similar to Kristen, we both have air moons. So we intellectualize our feelings a lot. So that's where it's like, what I hate to use the word lack, because nobody's ever lacking in anything, right? It's just a skill set that I really, really hope to learn one day, to be that emotionally in depth and to not have to immediately have to balance or intellectualize my own emotions. To feel my feelings instead of think, what is the definition of this?
Yeah, it's the difference between rationalizing them and just letting them be.
Exactly.
So I don't know if this matters for the episode, but like on a personal level, that's part of my trauma journey is learning that I can just feel emotions instead of having to like, right? So like me crying is a kind of a new development. Like me coming back into who I am is a new development, but like that I feel like that's the real differential there is rationalizing them, excusing them, justifying them versus just letting them exist and be what they are.
You have a Cancer Chiron, don't you?
Do I?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do if you're talking like that.
Is it in this app or do I need a calculator?
No, so you have to go online to find your Chiron. It's similar to like how you would find also your like black moon or your Lilith placement, you have to Google it.
Okay.
So go into Google, you type in find my Chiron. And as far as I'm understanding, if you Google it, it will pop up with an actual like little thing that you could type in, or it's like the first one. For you, Kristen, my Aquarius moon, Chiron is a comet that orbits between Saturn, I think. Let me triple check. I wrote it down. I want to say, because I want to say it's Saturn and Uranus. It was discovered in the 30s, I think it was. I'm not sure on that exactly. But it orbits between those two planets.
I'm totally like listening, but I'm also like typing in.
It's in Cancer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How did you know that? What the fuck?
Okay. Chiron holds the biggest traumas in our life and also tells us when we learn to heal those traumas, they become our greatest strengths. Cancer and Chiron people innately have intense, deep-seated trauma when it comes to family, emoting, and being safe in that environment.
I feel naked.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I was like, I was just gonna stick with the big three, but then when you started saying that, because I have Cancer and Chiron as well.
I have Gemini.
Gemini and Chiron. You most likely struggled with your voice not being heard as a child, and that you struggle with the idea of being able to fully communicate safely, and public speaking is a fucking nightmare for you. But when you heal that, you will be so motivational in your voice and speaking and reaching the masses.
Okay, that's super weird because for one, 100%. For two, I've been having this reoccurring, which is why I'm so happy about doing this podcast, is like you do well in public speaking. And it's not because, it's because the method. I didn't have that. I didn't have that growing up. So trying to do it for other people or trying to like better myself to be able to speak my truth is just insane. I'm just like, oh my God. Chart, how do you know everything?
It's a little taken aback because like all of the abuse that I've suffered happened like at home, not necessarily with family. Some of it, yes, but some of it, no. I'm like blown away.
Can I venture to take a wild guess that the trauma that you withstood that holds the deepest parts of you that are the hardest to heal have to do with a maternal figure or your mom?
Potentially.
Somebody with a Cancer Chiron, we will address every other pain before the one that needs to be addressed first. And it is usually within a maternal figure or our mothers. And I say maternal figure in like grandmother or as a woman that we grew up looking up to even.
Yeah, interesting.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
It's so frustrating because it's like, what the hell is it with our generation? And I mean like our generation from like not just millennials, but like a little bit out on each side and continuing down. Like we're starting to like actually break some of these generational curses and break some of these like
Pluto Scorpio.
Yeah, because we're all like, no, we're not going to stand for that, and we're going to treat our children right, and we're going to, raise them to have a childhood because we know that we can't go back and we can't enjoy that. So that's why we're still all rocking our Snuggies and getting Squishmallows. So
playing The Sims.
No,
playing The Sims, romancing the Grim Reaper.
Yes. No, hear me out. The Grim Reaper and Sims.
I don't think that's a hear me out because I
No,
agree.
You're not working hard to convince anyone in this group right now that the Grim Reaper is hot in The Sims 4. I mean, any of the Sims games, if we're honest.
Yeah.
Banging in all of them.
Yep.
Hey, baby, what's under those robes?
Show me your 207th bone, bro.
Dag, new boo.
We've been traveling together down a dark path. Now it's time to take a break and listen to some of our sponsors. A Dark Path will return after these messages.
Light the way on your dark path with Wise Wolf Craft's unique selection of tools for living with intention. From manifestation kits to altar items and divination tools, we have everything you need to connect with your inner wisdom. Wise Wolfcraft offers Reiki and other energy healing sessions, divination readings, and a variety of classes on topics like intuitive tarot and personalized spell work. Unleash the power within. Visit Wise Wolfcraft today online at wisewolfcraft.com and on Facebook and Instagram as @WiseWolfcraft. Wise Wolfcraft, tools for living with intention. Needing guidance on your dark path? Explore the mysterious world of Jupiter's Omens, offering handmade rituals, spells, and tools to focus your intention during spell work, vintage altar tools and decor, and intuitive tarot sessions utilizing claircognizance. Visit Jupiter's Omens, where the mystical and macabre meet, at jupitersomens.square.site. That's jupitersomens.square.site.
What happens if somebody doesn't know their birth time for their chart?
They're fucked.
I know a lot of people don't know that.
Okay, so
Fucked.
a lot of people won't know their birth times. I think there's even still some countries that don't even write it down. With that, it is very, 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 very difficult to do an astrological or natal birth chart. Where you are at and the place and the exact time can change your rising sign, can even change your moon sign, sometimes can even change a Venus sign, and your rising sign is your first house of 12. It sets up the whole entire domino effect of how your houses will follow. You also cannot find your Chiron. You cannot find your black moon, which is like, that's like your shadow self, right? There's a lot of things that you cannot find, and it's open to interpretation at that point. And the only thing that I would say is somebody that, if somebody came to me and says, I really want to know more, I'd say get to your closest time. And what I would do is look at the birth chart 2 hours before or 2 hours after. If you have no idea, then I'm just going to tell you, hey, I can tell you your sun sign, do a little bit more research. Maybe your moon sign stays the same, maybe it doesn't. And just kind of give you a vibe and just have you talk to me. And also another thing that's fun about rising signs, it also can predict your facial features and body.
What?
Yeah, so like maybe an Aries rising, that's why I always have a red cast in my face. I know that the podcast can't see it. I have reddish skin. People who have Mars risings tend to have a reddish cast to their skin. Scorpio risings tend to have darker features, darker hair, darker eyes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, yes, I know. It goes really, really hard on stuff like that.
So interesting, because like being a Taurus, I have constantly like, oh, Tauruses are generally stocky and they're generally like da 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 da. But then like Allyson and I are both Taurus and we're completely different looking people. Like I'm summer to her autumn, you know?
I'd almost venture to say you're a winter.
I'm a winter,
Me?
Kristen.
Winter.
I'm a winter.
Sorry.
I'm a bright winter, according to Deep Chat AI. Is my trauma in my birth chart?
Oh, yeah.
Is my life actually written in the stars? And then to go with that, is everything written in stone, or am I able to challenge or change anything?
Okay, so I love that question. I love all of those questions. It's everything written in stone. And my answer to that is astrology isn't written in stone. It's written in the stars, because like the planet and the stars, their job is to shift and change perspective. It is not meant to be something that this is who you are, this is how you're showing up, and stay that way. It's actually telling you, move past that, push past that, keep going. This is the stuff that you've already learned. This is all the challenges that your soul signed up for, being birthed this way. Your South Node can show a lot of traumas that you had in your past life, or that you had early on in life if you do not believe in past lives, right? And my South Node is in Leo. I did not learn the lesson that I was meant to in my last lifetime, so which is why I was born a Leo again. I have to learn that. And the universe will continue to rotate around, just like the planets, around the same traumas and same lessons. So that way you can learn something new from that again. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck.
They are there. They are written in quote unquote stone, but they're also erasable. They're also mutable.
Think about it as you're writing a book. When you're born, you have chapters that are pre-written. You now have the language capable of writing your own story at that point. I mean, I got into it because I wanted to challenge it, right? And the thing that I love the most about it is that I truly do think everything should be challenged and questioned.
What exactly are sister signs?
The sister signs are Aries and Libra, Taurus and Scorpio, Gemini and Sagittarius, Cancer and Capricorn, Leo and Aquarius, and Virgo and Pisces. The thing I love that you brought up in the northern and southern hemispheres is that they're the same sign, just different fonts. With sister signs, you will either, and it's one or the other, absolutely meld and connect, or you will challenge one another because you're going to mirror the things in yourself that you don't want to see. I personally think that the reason why the sister signs exist is because they show what I like to call an evolved and an unevolved sign is. A unevolved Leo is still only a Leo, but an evolved Leo will have the aspects of an Aquarius in it. Leos are known as egocentric. Aquarians are known as intellectuals. Their sense of self is unique. Leos love to take the center stage to be viewed as unique. These are the same thing, but they're not exactly the same thing, if that makes sense. An Aquarius is the quiet confident, where the Leo is the loud confident. And they both need to see that they need each other.
What is astrocartography?
Ooh. Okay, so astrocartography, I'm not 100% well versed on, but I do know that it is the idea that if you take your natal birth chart, like if you see like a spherical wheel whenever you look up your birth chart and there's lines crossing and diagonaling, if you take that circle and put it over the sphere of the earth, specific lines and patterns on the earth will tell you where parts of your birth chart will surface more easily.
So it's like places you can go or places you can channel in order to achieve different things in your life or manifest different things.
Exactly. And then you don't have to necessarily go there. You could listen to the music. You could eat the foods. You could be surrounded by the colors or the specific like flora and fauna of those places to channel that energy yourself. There are aspects on the earth that could bring up the perfect place for you to sit in your Chiron, to sit in your trauma and your pain, and be able to filter out all the hurt and look at this piece right here. If I heal this, if I address this, everything else will fall away. And you also have those in your finding your sense of self. If I go to this place, everything else, all the noise will fall away. Oh my gosh, this piece is exactly who the fuck I am.
We also touched on your north node and your south node. What exactly are those and why are they important?
Right, why it's important to check your nodes, everybody. So your north node is said to be where someone is going in their current lifetime or where they're going in their next lifetime. So that's where your north node comes in. Your south node is said to be where in this lifetime or past lifetimes, you have an extremely important lesson that you need to learn. For me is standing up for my own feelings and emotions. When I said that I have a black moon in Libra, right? And my moon is in Libra and my descendant is in Libra. That is a constant reoccurring thing in a lot of my relationships in life, is that I will shut off my emotions to not hurt anybody else. But that's not the point of my life. My point of my life is to learn that lesson. So then you can grow into your next phase. Blossom.
I'll grow into my phases.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't. It's hard.
Well, if you
We'll
don't,
do the work.
Next life too. So just saying.
Oh, why does that feel so
Crazy for
daunting?
me.
I did look into your guys' whole birth charts, not just your big three. So I looked at them all.
Wait. What is your big six? And is your big six better than your big three?
Yes.
Now you can continue.
Interlude to that. I mean, the bigger the better, right? No, your big six tells me as an astrological reader, right? A lot more about you. So it tells me how you communicate, how you fight, how you love, how you are intimate. And intimacy is not always sexual. It's like intimacy can be like, how can I show up for you to make you feel connection? And you mix it all together.
My Mercury is Aries. My Mars is Capricorn.
Your Mercury is how you communicate, and your Mars is how you fight. Capricorns, okay, so they're another earth sign, but I feel like a Capricorn Mars, you're methodical as hell, and you will only strike when it is like bullseye. You take a while to take aim, but when you do, it is unleashed in such a way. And also when it comes to your Mercury and Aries, you are loud, you are boisterous. Yes, very much like a viper, right? Like your strike is impeccable. In my opinion, from your birth chart, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person. And it bothers you because people will bring that out of you, and it feels you don't have that control of yourself because your Aquarius moon wants to intellectualize all of your emotions, including your anger response. Anger demands to be felt. You can't hold it back. Anger is the piece of you that tells you you deserve better.
So on that note, my Mars is in Cancer.
Ooh, okay.
So my interpretation was, I told Kristen when we found out what our Mars placements were, I said, if you get mad at me, I'm just gonna cry.
Nope.
No? Okay.
No.
I feel like that's what I would do.
You would do that after a absolutely intense fight. So Cancer Marses, for me as a Virgo Mars,
Cancer's also applause.
I get mad for other people, but like I just sit and take it, dude.
Right, but when you fight for other people, see, that's because you haven't healed your trauma. But we're not getting into that. But the way that you show up and fight for other people is ferocious. I can imagine is
like you want me in the fight.
Correct. So Cancer, the Cancer's the crab, right? Remember how we talked about there's those stories in like the Chinese zodiac? There's also those stories in like our tropical zodiac. The Cancerian crab is massive.
Oh.
It is huge. It takes up an entire cave.
Like Kingler?
Yes, exactly. So when you think about it, like me being a Virgo Mars, I would never want to go against a Cancer Mars because your attack and your approach is big, it's heavy, it hits hard. And then if you get any sense of danger, you'll drop a claw and scare the fuck out of everybody and be like, oh my God, they lost an arm, holy shit. And then you're
thanks for that.
Drop, it's the claw drop.
Claw drop. So then what are the big six? Because we've got Sun, Moon, Rising,
Mercury, Venus.
I got my chart.
Mars, Mercury,
Venus, Mars.
Venus.
Mm-hmm.
So
my Mercury's in Gemini. Oh. My Venus is Taurus. My Mars is Cancer. Kristen.
I really think if you're down after we finish this, I want you to like psychoanalyze both of our charts.
I already did. I do love about yours, Allyson. So your Cancer Moon, your Gemini Mercury, and your Taurus Venus, all of those are in their home planets, which means that they are going to be very dominant in your birth chart because they're exactly where they want to be.
Those are kind of my life skills too. I mean, not getting angry, but the rest of it.
Right.
I kind of suck at getting angry.
But that's where your power lies.
In my anger?
Yes. I've seen you super angry over stuff that has happened about or to me. And if you could channel half of that for yourself, ooh, dogs.
Feel so called out.
So to air out my dirty laundry, I'm Leo Sun, Libra Moon, Aries Rising, and then I have Virgo Mercury, Virgo Venus, and Virgo Mars.
Ooh, you stand a Virgo in this house.
So when you have 3 or more signs in your planetary birth chart, that is called a stellium. Fun fact.
Stellium. A lot about stelliums on the TikToks lately.
Fucking boomer.
Hey, I am an old soul.
On the TikTok. It's okay. I was finger typing on my fucking iPad and couldn't figure out how to call somebody.
My face hurts from laughing. Like my TMJ is acting up. Talk about being a boomer. I'm gonna have to eat mashed potatoes tomorrow.
I need my ice and my bra to put on my face.
Did you watch Dexter's Lab when you were a kid?
Oh, hell yeah.
It makes me think of the episode with the applesauce and the ivy, and he goes, applesauce.
The way I communicate my Mercury, the way that I love and accept love, and the way that I have a drive are all present to Virgo. Pisces people challenge that in me. And they don't just challenge how I communicate. They challenge how I communicate, how I love, how I live, and my motivation. So when you have a stellium, you tend to be much more easily triggered when it comes to that. Virgos, being an earth sign, have the same rigidity as a Capricorn, have the same rigidity as a Taurus, right? Virgos thrive on routine. If you fuck with my routine, you will see a really mean side of me. Talking about how there's difficult moon placements, right? There's difficult sun placements, there's difficult moon placements, and there's also difficulty in each planetary placement. Having a Virgo Venus is a very difficult placement because I know how to perfectly love another person. I do not know how to let myself be loved unless it's perfect. I tend to be a judge when it comes to that. You have to love me in this exact way, otherwise I will not feel loved. And that is something that I habitually have to challenge in myself.
What if I relate more to my moon sign than I do to my sun sign? What does that mean?
It means that you're, like in Allyson's case, her having a Cancer moon, that's in its home planet, it has a heavier hit. Or let's say your rising sign has in your big six, like your rising sign, your Mercury and your Mars create a stellium. Those are going to be the heavy hitters. So it is not uncommon to not fully identify with your sun sign, actually, because in astrology, your sun sign does not dictate who you are, really. It is your rising sign. Your rising sign is more important than your sun sign.
Our ego wants us to say, sun sign forever, baby.
Correct. And because birth time is far less common in the scheme of like birth recordings than the date. Time of birth is not always recorded or, to be honest, known.
Yeah. I did a real quick search. What place does not record time of birth? Australia.
Oh, that's what it was.
Apparently, Australia does not typically record on their birth certificates the time of birth.
The thing that I want to know, I'm sure other people are dying as well, because I get asked to do compatibility readings in tarot. Are compatibility readings legitimate in astrology? What's the tea? What's your opinion?
My opinion is that they are legitimate in the potential compatibility. This is going to all circle back. I got taught how to read palms very, very, very loosely by this Korean man, and he told me that it is 80-20. 80% of it is based on your palm reading. 80% of compatibility is based on your birth chart. 20% is up to your free will. So, yes, there are astrological compatibility placements that would make sense, but that's up to them to make that choice.
I think the other thing too is it's a little bit more complicated, right? Like we were talking before, I think we started recording, like Capricorn is allegedly a really good match for Taurus. It's like our optimal match, allegedly. However, that doesn't take into consideration any other placements, any other house placements, any trauma. anything else. That's just looking at one sign. And I don't think that's enough information.
It's that idea of theory and practice. In theory, compatibility readings are true. Actually, I do know that a lot of like arranged marriages happen in India based on birth charts and their
That's true.
and their
Yeah.
ability to be compatible, because they have no other information. They don't have a history with this person. So if you're going to choose to be married and have a union with somebody based on a birth chart, that's better than just going off of somebody's vibe. I'm gonna be honest. Like, better than Tinder, like
Here for the
by
vibes.
liking their picture.
Yes.
Swipe left, swipe right. Yeah, and that's like with my whole, Aries issues. If I have a Aries that hasn't necessarily worked on themselves or taken into account some of their other, aspects of themselves, and it's the more, I don't even want to say negative, but the kind of shadow self is more presented than somebody who's an Aries that has worked on themselves, has figured out some things, has had some of those experiences. I wouldn't necessarily be so like butting heads with.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with what you're saying, that like, yes, there are aspects of some Aries, and you're saying some, it's not all, right? And that's like true with everybody. There are going to be people that realize like, oh man, I'm kind of realizing that like Capricorns, or I'm kind of realizing that Cancers, or something like this sign does seem to show up a lot as a repetitive trigger for me. What is that in me? So Allyson said that hers is Virgo.
Mine is Virgo. I have one friend that's a Virgo, and then the rest of the Virgos I've ever met have really turned shit up.
Even though I have my big three, Virgo is my chart ruler. So I'm kind of curious now, and I'm totally a little bit calling out. Do I trigger you a little bit? Have you noticed like the way that sometimes I talk or act is a little bit triggering, or not really?
No. Like
Okay.
it's more straightforward, and it seems less calculated, like less calculated.
A trigger for me can be Cancers and Capricorns, like specifically like those two. And it's not that there's anything inherently wrong or bad with them. It's just like they show something that I still haven't healed in myself.
So I've got like a lot of Cancer and Capricorn placements. So then I ask the same thing, right? Are there things
Right.
that I do that are triggering for you?
And the answer is no. But
That's so fascinating.
we also have not challenged each other. You know what I mean? Like, so that's
Yeah.
like that's the thing that I love about it. Also, okay, so our friend Brooke is one of my best friends. She's a Cancer. So
Yeah.
there's always room for differences, right? And like I have dated Capricorns before, so obviously there is an attraction that I have to them. But they bring out this shadow that it's like, ooh, should probably work on that. But you know what? I don't want to right now.
Feel that deep down in my little Taurus body. So we had mentioned quite a few times the word retrograde.
Mm.
What the heck is retrograde? What does that mean?
Retrograde is when a planet appears to spin backwards from Earth's perspective, and it can last anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 months. That depends on the planet and its proximity to the sun. The closer to the sun it is, the more it goes retrograde, right? Looking at you, Mercury. Mercury takes 88 days to orbit the sun, and you take 88 and you divide it into 365 days. That's the average amount of days in a year. That means that Mercury goes retrograde 4.148 times a year. Doesn't mean that the planet's actually spinning backwards. It's similar to like if you ever see like a SUV with those big old like hubcap spinner wheels. It looks like those wheels are spinning backwards, but they're not. They're spinning forwards. That's the same with a retrograde planet. And the only thing that retrograde does is it takes the innate nature of that planet and makes it shadowed or a little bit haywire. So Mercury is the planet of communication. When Mercury goes retrograde, there is an issue with communications as a whole. whether that's person to person, whether that is cell phones, computers. When people talk about Mercury retrograde, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why does my computer keep randomly shutting down? Why is my phone not refreshing? It's most likely Mercury retrograde when all of those things are happening at once, right? But when someone is born with their Mercury in retrograde, that means that when the planet is not retrograde, they struggle with communication all the time until Mercury goes retrograde again.
What does cardinal, fixed, and mutable mean?
Cardinal signs are the start of each zodiac sign element. Each zodiac sign has an element. There are 4 elements: fire, earth, air, water. There is a start to each element, a middle to each element, and an end to each element. Cardinals are the start, so the firstborns, if you will, and they are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. They are the firstborn, so they love to plan and set the standard. Then we have the fixed signs. The fixed signs are the middle children of the elements. That is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. They are the loyal workhorses who cannot be told what to do. Then lastly but not leastly, we have the mutable signs, which are the babies or the youngest of all the elements. That is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. They are flexible and fun. They are the ones who are the buffer between the oldest and the middle children by bringing the good time vibes.
With all the stuff that we've talked about, what are ways that we can incorporate astrology into our daily lives?
How deep you want to go with that? Because you could.
What would be something that maybe someone's a little bit like skeptical about astrology? They just kind of want to maybe do a little toe dippage.
What I would like to say as somebody, this is what's hard because I don't do toe dipping as Leo, the Aries, like all of this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like a toe dip for me, and something that I would say to everybody of every level, even people who are like super crazy into astrology like myself, just try. 1, find your rising sign. 2, try to embody that and show up as your rising sign, because the reason you have that is that's how the universe wants you to show up so that you can become your highest self. You need to show up as an Aquarius, Kristen. Allyson, you need to show up as a Scorpio. I need to show up as an Aries.
I do, to the best of my ability.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and doesn't it seem though, hold on, I know we're like joking right now, but when you truly embody that, like, body, yada, 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 sorry, does shit not just fucking work out for you in a way that is undescribable?
Yeah, like when I have that level of self-confidence and I stand in my magnetism. This is a thing that we can touch on. I also have tried dressing as my Venus, but recently I've been dressing as my rising.
Yes.
And doing both of those things attracts what corresponds to those things. So with your dressing in your rising sign, that's attracting better alignment, right? With dressing as your Venus sign, that's opening you up to receiving love better, things like that. So yes, showing up as my ascendant.
Exactly. And what about you, Kristen? Like, don't you feel that if you think about embodying and showing up as an Aquarius, which I feel like you naturally inherently do, because Aquarius is your chart ruler, let's be honest. Like when I looked at it, that is your dominant placement. That's your dom is Aquarius, right? And when you show up as that,
it's waterboarding me my whole life.
Do you not feel that things just like happen for you?
I don't know a ton about Aquarius, and I know a lot about Aquarius at the same time. Like, I don't know, am I doing the thing? Am I not? And then that's like, oh my God, I'm literally embodying it by just questioning it.
You guys can't see, but we're literally here. Justine and I, our heads are going to fly off because we're nodding the whole time. But Kristen's doing it now too. Like all of us are bobbleheads.
I almost always have dyed hair, purple, blue, but that's not a quote unquote normal societal thing. But at the same time, that's where I feel the most me, is when I have my piercings in, when I have my crazy outfit on.
And you want to embody your uniqueness.
This is like ways we can work astrology into our daily lives. I had a moment today where I was kind of feeling down and I saw this prompt to identify your favorite color. Mine is black, very Scorpio rising. And you count the number of things in your room that are your favorite color. So this room, the number is really high. The walls are black, my desk is black, my chair is black, my coffee. There's like 15 items. And
Yeah.
it felt so good to like see that I'd done that unconsciously. So I would say that's a way that you could kind of incorporate astrology is using the colors that are your powerhouses or using colors that you want to heal things of or and whatnot would be a great idea. And it feels comforting.
I, being a Leo, their color is gold. And then my Aries rising is red. And I have a huge issue with the balance of those two. My favorite color is amber, which is the marriage of the two.
That's so interesting.
Wants to balance everything. That's why I wear amber all the time. My bed sheets, my everything, like amber. Like when I look at couches and furniture, I want it to be amber or burnt orange. Like it's in everything that I want.
Nice.
It's my eye color too. I feel like when I like people will tell me like your eyes are very much like burnt orange or amber. Like obviously they're brown, right? But it's just like it's in everything. It's insane.
Which is so crazy because like I look around my house, like you were saying, Allyson, and I'm like, my favorite colors are red, blue, and purple. What makes purple red and blue?
Yep.
So I literally have red curtains, blue cabinet. Like
Your shirt.
that's crazy.
Colors associated with each zodiac sign and what you can, this is the easiest way to incorporate this into your daily life. Look at your birth chart and see what you want to embody, find your placement of that. So let's say you want to attract more love, right? That's Venus. The Venus sign that you would wear for Aries, like the color is red. Taurus, green. Gemini, yellow. Cancer is white or silver. Leo is gold. Virgo is brown or green. Libra is pink and blue. Scorpio is black. Sagittarius is purple. Capricorn is gray or brown. Aquarius is blue. And Pisces is light green. Think like sage. This is going to sound like a joke, but it's really not. I know quite a few colorblind people. This is one thing that I know for one person, they associate the idea of color with music sometimes. And so maybe listen to a song that makes you feel like the color light green. Maybe the word is in the song like gold or red or something like that. That's another good way to help associate, because what you listen and absorb in your body and in your mind, like through your ears as well, also resonates.
Use astrology when you're doing magic. There's different times of the year, times of the week that correspond with different planets and houses and all of that jazz. There's also crystals that correspond. We also have herbs that correspond. So you can use astrology for planning better manifestation of your spells.
So that was a lot. It was very, very interesting. I am so excited because I mean, we could dedicate the entire podcast to astrology and still, I feel like, not get everything and scratch the surface. So thank you so much, especially to our listeners for coming along this journey with us. And thank you so much, Justine. It was so amazing.
Well, thank you for having me. This has always been like a passion of mine and I love sharing it, and thank you for inviting me. This was a lot of fun. I have set up on my website ostaranorthwesttattoo.com. You can pay me for a birth chart reading. So
well, 10 out of 10, I recommend go to Justine's website and sort it out. What's the website?
My website is ostraranwtattoo.com. OSTARANWTATTOO.com.
We would love to have you back on in the future. You're such a good friend, an amazing person, and I think people are going to really enjoy your insight and your knowledge. So we'd love to have you back if you're up for it. You can follow Justine at Ostrara Northwest. So that's OSTARANW. And you can follow us at A Dark Path Podcast. If you have topics you'd like for us to discuss, any questions, or you just want to get to know us, please email us at adarkpathpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's adarkpathpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and joining us on this journey down a dark path.
It is now that our time together must come to an end. Thank you for joining us on this journey, a dark path come to a bend. Find us here bi-monthly on your favorite place to stream, and follow us on social media for news in between. A dark path is there, winding and waiting ever. May you craft peace, knowledge, and alignment, so shall it be, or something better.